had their data exposed in this breach. And now members of the Senate are calling for hearings. The attorney generals of several states, the attorneys general in several states are launching investigations because this is something that Americans would have no control over. Equifax is the company, one of the companies that determines your credit score. So they've got all the goodies on you, and they probably should have done a better job at keeping all that stuff secure.
Yeah, so what did they take, and how vulnerable is our information? Do we have any idea?
Well, again, it's one of those where we're not sure yet whether there's been an actual theft. We know that the data is exposed by this cyber attack, but we don't know whether it was actually stolen or whether any of it's been put to use in inappropriate or illegal ways. And that's one of the questions that the Attorney General of New York wanted to get to the bottom of. Is there evidence that this data has actually been used inappropriately?
So one of the things they tell you to do is to go to this website, which we did, put in our name and 6 of our Social Security numbers, hit a button, and then it says you may have been exposed. Click this next button, which sounds like some type of ruse to get me to sign up for something.
Well, it does. And in fact, initially, McGraw, when you would put in your information, Equifax had a little fine print that said you had to give up your right to sue over this. And the Attorney General all said, no, that's not how it works. And so there's no quid pro quo here. You can check to see if your data was compromised, but there is no string attached, as it were.
But it also seems like that's kind of a scam because it says you may have been broached. So it doesn't even tell you definitively if you're part of the 143 million people.
Yeah, and McGraw, I could have told you, since it is such a large number, it's half of all Americans, right?
Right.
You may have been compromised. And so some experts say you should go as far as imposing a credit freeze, meaning that you would not allow any credit in your name. That's a rather drastic step, and it could be a pain in the neck for you, but it may be the only way to fully protect yourself.
So we don't know of anyone yet who has shown any proof of being compromised?
No, it's not clear that anyone's data has actually been put to nefarious use, but even the idea that it could be compromised in this day and age by a company that deals in credit and determining credit scores is really troubling. And we've heard all the hue and cry that you would expect. There's another corollary to this story, too, which added to the outrage. 3 Equifax executives just happened to sell some stock when the data breach was discovered. Of course, the company said they didn't actually know at the time.
Yeah, this is not only been a disaster for having the content breach, but also somewhat of a PR disaster. You mentioned the executives. You mentioned this other thing with waiving your right to sue. Equifax hasn't handled this very well.
No, they haven't. And in fact, the senators and the investigators now want to know how this company has been managed. Did they have the necessary safeguards? Were they doing the things that the FBI and other agencies have been telling companies to do for years now in the face of these cybersecurity incidents?
Aaron Katersky, ABC News correspondent in New York on the Equifax deal. Aaron, thanks for checking in.
Thanks, McGraw.
You got